On July 18, 2025, the intelligence world was shaken when Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard held an unprecedented press briefing in Washington, D.C. In crisp, measured tones, she accused the Obama administration and its top spy masters of orchestrating a treasonous conspiracy to delegitimize then-candidate Donald Trump. Over 45 minutes, Gabbard laid out a timeline, from her review of declassified CIA and FBI files to internal memos indicating that John Brennan, James Clapper, and others selectively used the Steele dossier to shape public and congressional perception. Gabbard, a former congresswoman turned DNI, claimed she has evidence of doctored reporting, withheld exculpatory data, and coordination with the media to frame Trump as a Russian asset. By day's end, she had formally referred her findings and related classified documents to the Department of Justice, urging a criminal inquiry into these alleged abuses of power. The reaction was immediate. Cameras flashed as lawmakers filed out, some shaking their heads in disbelief, others scribbling notes for emergency hearings. News alerts lit up phones across the globe. DNI accuses former president of treasonous conspiracy. Social media exploded with hashtag #declassifythetruth and hashtag Gabbard revelations. This isn't just another partisan spectacle. It's the first time a sitting DNI has publicly accused a former president and senior intelligence officials of criminal wrongdoing. And by citing primary source documents, Gabbard has forced a crossroads. Will Congress launch an immediate investigation, or will this be dismissed as political theater? To grasp the magnitude of Gabbard's claims, we must revisit the origins of the Russia investigation. In mid-2016, the FBI secured a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, warrant to surveil Carter Page, citing the Steele dossier, a compilation of opposition research alleging ties between Trump's campaign and Kremlin operatives. The dossier, funded by Democratic entities, formed the backbone of early Russia collusion probes. Former CIA Director John Brennan publicly warned of Russian meddling in the 2016 election long before the dossier hit the headlines. Meanwhile, DNI James Clapper declassified bulletins linking Kremlin cyber operations to U.S. email hacks. In 2017, the Justice Department's Inspector General found serious errors and omissions in FISA applications but stopped short of alleging intentional deception. Yet, for years the question lingered. Were those errors honest mistakes or deliberate manipulations? Gabbard says her review uncovered internal emails showing that exculpatory evidence, including memos denying links between Trump aides and Russian handlers, was deliberately excluded from FISA renewals. She also points to coordinated leaks to the press, which framed the dossier as unassailable fact. This backstory reveals a fraught mix of genuine national security concerns and partisan maneuvering. The Steele dossier, once dismissed as fringe, vaulted Russia collusion to front-page obsession. Congressional hearings, special counsel investigations, and nonstop media coverage followed, culminating in 2 years of national turmoil. Now, Gabbard is arguing that what began as a legitimate inquiry morphed into a targeted campaign. If true, this rewrites the history of both the Obama and Trump presidencies and could expose a fault line where intelligence gathering crossed into political warfare. Gabbard's allegations have ignited a fierce response across the political spectrum. On Capitol Hill, Republicans immediately demanded emergency hearings, vowing to subpoena former officials. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan tweeted, "This is the smoking gun we needed." Senate Intelligence Chair Mark Warner countered, calling the charges baseless and reckless, and warned that politicizing intelligence threatens national security. In the media, primetime anchors struggled to parse the implications. Fox News framed it as a vindication of Trump-era skepticism. CNN and MSNBC dissected Gabbard's motives, questioning whether she was fueling partisan conspiracy to derail the Biden administration's agenda. Pundits debated the credibility of her evidence, while panelists replayed key moments from the 2016 hearings. Former intelligence officials spoke out in op-eds. FBI veteran Frank Figliuzzi wrote, "Astonishing. If true, this corrupts the very core of our system." Ex-Clinton Spock's Brian Fallon called it political theater, urging caution until DOJ confirms document authenticity. Public reaction has been equally polarized. Social media is split. Hashtag GabbardFacts trend champions her courage to tell the truth, while hashtag Stop the Conspiracy labels her a former traitor to national unity. Polling data shows 48% of Americans say they're concerned and want an investigation, while 44% dismiss it as old news being repackaged. Even foreign governments are watching. UK intelligence chiefs quietly expressed concern, noting that allegations of dossier manipulation could strain Five Eyes cooperation. NATO analysts flagged the risk of adversaries exploiting U.S. internal discord. Should Gabbard's evidence hold up, the fallout will be seismic. First, public trust in the intelligence community, already eroded by past controversies, would plunge further. A recent Pew poll indicated only 39% of Americans trust the CIA. Gabbard's claims could push that below 30%. Second, oversight reforms are likely. Bipartisan senators are drafting amendments to the FISA Act, demanding stricter court review, mandatory declassification of underlying evidence, and new penalties for misrepresentations in surveillance applications. Third, the DOJ faces an unprecedented test. If it opens a criminal probe into senior intelligence figures, including Brennan or Clapper, it could provoke decades-long legal battles and set a high bar for prosecuting alleged malfeasance in national security agencies. Fourth, the timing couldn't be more critical. With the 2026 midterms looming, if voters perceive weaponized intelligence targeting one party, election legitimacy itself is at stake. Campaigns on both sides are already reshaping messaging. Democrats emphasizing GOP attacks on national security, Republicans highlighting deep state corruption. Fifth, international alliances may shift. Allies who rely on U.S. intel for counterterrorism could demand renewed assurances or conditional cooperation. Adversaries like Russia and China, sensing division, may intensify influence operations to exploit U.S. institutional fractures. Finally, the cultural impact is profound. For a generation raised on digital leaks, conspiracy theories, and viral misinformation, Gabbard's drama underscores how intelligence and its manipulation can shape the course of history. The battle over truth in the public square now extends well beyond social media into the halls of power. History will judge July 18, 2025, as a crossroads. The day a sitting DNI accused a former president of weaponizing intelligence. That legacy depends on what comes next. If Gabbard's evidence is corroborated, it will mark one of the most significant scandals in modern U.S. history, on par with Watergate or Iran-Contra. It could redefine the balance between secrecy and accountability in Washington. Conversely, if her claims unravel under scrutiny, she risks irreparable damage to her own credibility and to the office of the DNI. Future directors may face reluctance to speak out, fearing they'll be branded partisan saboteurs. For Barack Obama and his intelligence chiefs, the allegations will cast a long shadow over their national security legacies. Their defenders will point to Russia's real interference in 2016. Their critics will argue that ends don't excuse means. But the broader lesson is clear. Democracy depends on informed consent, and when intelligence is used as a political tool, consent erodes. The challenge ahead is restoring faith through transparency, reform, and an unwavering commitment to truth. As Congress and the courts take up Gabbard's referrals, Americans will be watching closely. Will the system hold itself accountable, or will institutional inertia protect the powerful? The answer will tell us not just about the past, but about the future of U.S. democracy.